Welcome to the Athens Film Festival 2025 Creator Interviews. Today I'm here with Debonair Curtis and Sky Crystal from the film Best Day Ever, showing at the festival this August. Thank you both so much for sitting down with me. Before we jump in, can you tell us who you are and what your role was in the making of Best Day Ever?
But you're the writer. Come on.
My name's Sky Crystal, and I play Mike in Best Day Ever. I also wrote it.
Amazing.
My name is Devonair Curtis, and I play Avon in the film Best Day Ever. And I just was this guy's lead actor.
Amazing. Oh my gosh. It was such a lovely film. Great pacing, great acting all around, very high quality. We are so excited to have it in the festival. My first question, though, is for you, Debonair. So Avon is a hitman with a lot of layers. He's very cool and composed one moment, and he's kind of spiraling the next. How did you prepare to play someone who's dangerous and very skilled, but clearly on the edge?
I had to really study roles, from obviously actors like Denzel and anything from like the Equalizer films to I don't know, just the John Wick style films to really kind of gauge how to be a calm businessman and kind of use my charisma as I got further along to kind of let the character develop to a more open character.
Right, yeah. And was there any amount of like body language that was deliberate for that too?
A lot of the stiffness in the beginning was deliberate to kind of show that I was on guard. And when it got to the last scene, just more open and body motions to show that I was trying to be more confident in showing my brother that I could be a fun guy,
Yeah.
so that
Yeah,
was
no, we
deliberate.
definitely see that for evolution as it goes on. Was there a scene in particular that was like more challenging to be reserved for or more open for?
The most challenging scene, I think, was in the middle of the short, which was in the apartment. That scene, I felt like was the more challenging. Just trying to find the right balance. It was fun acting with Sky, so I had to keep this reserved mind state.
Amazing. All right. Thank you so much. And for Sky, this is kind of a pivot. This is a question that I had when I was watching it, though, just in my
Yes.
mind. There's this motif of food. I watched this at lunch, so I was a bit hungry, and I was like, is it just
Yeah.
me? But I watched it, and I was like, these cannolis, these waffles, the steak, all of this. Did that come from any sort of symbolic place in your writing, or was that like more of a nod to just gangster film tradition and like the symbolism there?
Yeah, I mean, so essentially, this is a proof of concept for a feature that I wrote, and it is a marriage between The Wire and The Sopranos, a little bit of planes, trains, and automobiles sprinkled in there. And with that, there's such a humanity that's brought to somebody when they are eating. And I feel like it's always such a vehicle for a character and for an audience to feel what that person is feeling because essentially the juxtaposition between the villain Valenti just eating almost like, the definition of, brutal, like carnivore meat eating, and compared to what Mike eats, bacon, peanut butter, waffle sandwich, it kind of just like shows who those characters are based off of what they eat. And we don't get to see Avon eat because we see him partake in substance and then we get to see him have black coffee. So yeah, so like each character really partakes in something that defines their character. And yeah, good eye on that.
Yeah, no, thank you for explaining that. I mean, I just thought it was such an interesting vehicle, like you said, for something that's honestly eating seems to be kind of vulnerable, but there was a lot of power involved in just like the cutting the steak and then vulnerability when your character Mike is, eat something he shouldn't, not to spoil it for anybody. Um,
Yeah.
then Avon has to come in and help him there.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
Preston, the director, he very much had an eye for what I was doing with that in the writing, and he made sure to highlight that quite a bit. I'm very grateful that he did that.
Yeah, amazing. And was that something that was like straight from script in the inception and that still carried through to the end? Was there anything that changed over the course of, actually coming in and acting in this script?
So, in terms of the food or in general?
Just use the food
Because
as a segue, but
yeah, well, the steak. was supposed to be very bloody, and it was supposed to have like just like a sunny side up egg on top. So it was this disgusting mess of like red and yellow at, like on the plate. And we shot this in 2 days, and so we only had the restaurant for 7 hours. So yeah, we weren't gonna get a fried egg because it was just way too much of a process for props and the art department to have to like do it over and over again. Yeah, uh, Andy Leeds, who was incredible, and her assistant Ray,
Amazing.
as well as Valenti, the actor Ryan Bender, his wife was Steph, and she was the one that handled all the food and everything. It was pretty awesome.
Mm,
It looked good. I mean, well, thank you so much. Yeah. And just, still in the kind of mode, I guess, of like physicality still, there was some like intense, like, blocking going on too with some scenes between the two of you. How was that?
Well, we're homies. We're very
yeah.
close friends. Yeah, I
Good.
It
don't know.
was
I've
fun.
been talking a lot. Go ahead, Dev.
No, it's perfectly fine. I mean, it was fun. I couldn't believe that I had to do some of the things that I had to do. But it was fun. Anything with Sky is fun. This is not the first thing that we've shot, but it's the biggest thing that we've shot, and we've always had fun and done things that showed that we are bros. So it was great to show that in that quality of the film.
Yeah, no, that chemistry is really like palpable, and I was just like, oh, these two guys. Yeah. And also just for both of you, honestly, if a future version of Best Day Ever got greenlit, where would you personally or as a writer, as an actor, want to take your relationship between Avon and Mike next?
Yeah, so well, I'll have Dev answer where he would like to take it
My
because I
goodness.
I already know
Yeah,
where
he
it's going.
he actually, and what I want to say, he's not revealing, but he has a full script written already. So yeah,
Mhm.
we just did the proof of concept for that section of the script. So we already know how it ends. We know where it's going. We don't really want to spoil too much, and I see that's why he put it on me.
Amazing. All right. Yeah, don't give us too much, I guess.
Yeah. But no, I mean it's interesting because Avon lives in this world of, corruption, organized crime, and Mike finagles his way in there, and once he does that, it's Avon trying to figure out this balance of like family meets his world of crime that he would like to get out of, and he's trying to get out of. And it's the rest of the feature is that, and confronting his past, as well as having to deal with this honky ass brother-in-law. So
I see.
Man.
Yeah, well, speaking about, corruption and power and like, the presence of violence in this film too, was that more of a response to just like political climate going on, or was that something more personal for you as a writer, or your choice to take this role? Was there something more complex about that that really spoke to you?
yeah, I mean, well, I have a good friend who's, he comes from a very religious family, and it is something that we talk about often because as an actor, his parents never want to see him as a villain. And for me, whenever I got the chance to sit down with him, I always try to explain to him that when your hero is met with such evil and such great power that when they do eventually overcome it, it feels that much more weight to it on the other side. For myself, I think that what I very much wanted was for like by the end of the feature for people to realize is that that when you do have something like real, it's so much more valuable than the security of a job. And a lot of times a job can suck the life out of you and suck the humanity out of you. But when you do have family, that's like something that can like actually make you whole. So yeah, good question.
Yeah, Debonair?
As far as I knew, there was nothing personal that came from Scott to me, but I like the overall message of as he stated, when you have to put yourself in between work and family, who will you really be there for? Are you going to be there more for the work, or are you going to be there more for your family? Even if it's not particularly a family that you like, it's still family. I mean, I like that about it. So it allowed me to take that approach when reading the script.
Yeah, no, I can really I felt that tension as soon as like the sister was mentioned. I was like,
Absolutely.
oh God.
Right.
You don't need to have, siblings necessarily to even feel that. Just like there's a desire to protect something more than yourself.
Absolutely.
And that really comes through. But yeah. Well, we're blowing through a lot of these questions. But Diviner, you mentioned that you watched a lot of films to kind of prepare and, get into the psyche of your character. For the viewers at home, I ask everybody, what are some films that you would recommend to watch, either warming up for the festival to see Best Day Ever and get a touch of a taste for it, or if they want to see more like it after the project, it can be something you like, something you're in. You can say whatever.
So, I mean, this one film that I'm thinking of is not actually a direct correlation to it, but something along the lines of 21 Jump Street, it's
Yes.
it's something that has, serious parts to it, but is a kind of quirky style film. And that's where I think the connection is there. That will be the film I say people can watch
All
that'll get
right.
them ready for it.
Nice. Sky, would you have a film or two?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, The Sopranos and The Wire, people that are fans of those series, if you want to give those a quick rewatch or whatnot. But something that somebody brought the attention to me was The Longest Yard is very
Mhm.
comparable simply because I can't remember the actor's name, but it's like the villain and the scenario is so like hostile, like the warden of the prison, and he takes it so seriously. This Adam Sandler film, he takes the role so seriously, and it actually makes the stakes so much higher. And I think that's
Mhm.
what Ryan Bender, that plays Mr. Valenti, does super well. Is he really like raises the stakes with how much he brings to this like evil villain. And yeah, in a comedy, when you do have that juxtaposition, I think it just like raises the stakes. So The Longest Yard, if that answers your question.
Amen. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like coming from all of these classic references, was there anything that either of you wanted to subvert necessarily about it? I mean, that you have like, the beautiful like light and like the silhouettes and the food symbolism. Was there anything in particular that you were like, we want to change it up here?
I wish we had Preston here for the
Yeah,
direction, but
yeah.
I'm
yeah,
so sorry.
I know that, yeah, especially Preston Taylor, our director, and our DP, David Belitz,
amazing.
they spent a lot of time together, kind of like creating mood and everything like that. I think that, I mean, personally, subverting of expectations, I think people are going to feel a little bit of tonal whiplash with the film, just because when it does switch, it switches pretty hard. And I think that's, if you have, this is a proof of concept, which is, 20 minutes long compared to the 90-plus minute feature that we will be doing in the future, you get to feel the two sides of it down the middle with the proof of concept. So just be in for a little bit of a tonal whiplash. It's
Yeah.
a real good time.
Absolutely. You
Nice.
said it all there for sure.
Amazing. Well, I'll ask just a last couple questions here. Did you have any like, oh no moments when filming this? I mean, this was a really in-depth production. You had some choreography going, you had some props, you had a good cast here. Was there anything where you're like, oh my God, like as a writer, as an actor, that you were just like, how do we save this?
I know that day two,
Mhm.
somebody on production, I don't know. I don't think it was intentional.
Including.
I think somebody accidentally tripped over a cord and they unplugged all the batteries.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
But we were also kind of saved because lunch just arrived. So, we were able to kind of pull back from there. I feel like people talk about a lot of no moments on set. I just want to talk about an yes moment that happened,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
in the high rise of the apartment, we have this big open bachelor pad, and this skyline of Atlanta you see. And we were so blessed because we had extreme overcast and you couldn't tell where the sun was. And if we didn't have that, because we filmed in December, you would have seen the sun go from one end to the other, and that would have been a nightmare in post. And so I'm just so grateful that we had overcast that day because that saved us so much. Yeah, that's my oh no and my oh yes. Deb,
Love
your
it.
turn.
I mean, the biggest oh no, I mean, I remember that moment when I was like, did something break or what? And that was what it was, when the camera battery. But the biggest oh no for me, I can say, was the weather on that last day, that
Oh,
last night of filming. It was so cold. Oh
oh
my
yeah, I forgot
goodness.
about that.
I mean, it was just freezing. Everybody was huddled up around, and I had to go stand with people and warm up my body, then go shoot immediately. So that was probably the biggest oh no moment for me there. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Oh gosh, do you have an oh yes to balance out the cold?
I mean, the biggest oh yes is in the film. I mean, that was Ryan Bender, just his character. When he was acting, I mean, you could just feel it just oozing off of him. And I mean, it was just a moment of everybody. We had to clap and applaud because it was just such an amazing moment where, when you're watching a film and you see something amazing on there, it was like seeing it in real life, real time. It was awesome. That was a hell yeah moment. Yeah.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, we love those wins. I'm so sorry for the cold and the batteries though. Oh gosh. Well, thank you so much. I think our last question I'll ask is at the end of this incredible piece of full story that we have here, what is something that you want people to really sit with or like leave thinking about when the credits roll?
Yeah, I mean, since it is a proof, the thing that I'm really wanting people to do is basically see that and then go, oh my God, I want to know what happens. I want more. Just based off of this 20 minutes, I would love for people to yearn for like the feature, essentially. So yeah, that is my goal, is for the people to be like, I want to know what happens. How can I help get this to fruition, everything like that. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
want
what I
more.
would say.
Absolutely. I just second that motion. More than just a central message of them feeling, or I just would want them feeling like, wow, this was a well put together film. How will this continue? There has to be more because, that was how we felt when we were filming it. So we hope to give that feeling to the audience when they watch.
Amazing. Yeah, and I mean, we definitely have it here. We're very excited to see you. Will we see you guys at the festival?
Yes,
Absolutely.
All
absolutely.
right, all right. Well, we can't wait. Everybody watching at home, come see Best Day Ever at the Athens Film Festival, August 14th through 17th. Tickets are on sale right now at athensfilm.com. For you guys, Debonair and Sky, where can the people find more about you and your projects?
All right. Bye.
Instagram's probably best for myself. It's just at Sky Crystal, and yeah.
All right,
Yep.
cool.
And as for me, Instagram as well. It's at Devenaire, Devenaire.
All right, amazing. Well, thank you guys so much for chatting with me.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank
It
you,
was nice
Blair.
meeting
Yeah, we'll see you at the festival.
All right,
you.
bye.